Knee pain is caused by two factors. There's the force that we can create on our own. Let's call that internal force. And then there's force that exceeds what we create on our own. We'll call that external force. Common internal forces are landing and stopping. Landing usually goes through the toes, so relies more on the muscles behind the ankle and above the knee, whereas the stopping usually goes through the heel and actually relies on the muscles above the ankle and behind the knee. But self-created knee pain is not only from those fast motions. Just look at motion itself. Most people, myself included, before knee ability would be in excruciating pain, if not injury, lowering those knees all the way to the floor or lowering the shoulders all the way back to the floor. In terms of external forces, yes, there's height, but there's also external load and motion itself. So all these can combine to create knee pain or injury. Of course, stopping what's hurting your knees is a valid short-term way of addressing knee pain, but what if you're like me? At 17, I had to quit playing basketball. At 18, I still couldn't play it. 19, I still couldn't play. Only when I found knee ability did that make basketball something that no longer hurt my knees. And thank goodness I didn't give up, because long-term, the avoidance of knee ability only shows disaster. In fact, a study on elderly shows that backward walking alone, the simplest test of knee over toes strength, is a predictor for falling, which is one of the leading causes of death and hospitalization. And the entire epidemic of knee replacements is only seen, study after study, in direct relation to how little knee ability you have. Let's look at some other evidence, starting with the less ankle mobility you have, the more chance of knee pain and knee ligament tear. Using a slant board to drive the knee over toe is now proven to grow and strengthen your patellar tendon, which is the #1 source of knee pain. So simply by applying this at anyone's level, look how easy this is to start. The lowest level would be with assistance, only elevating your heel. Just getting these into gyms around the world, and we would see a massive reduction in knee pain. We also know that being able to land without your knees buckling reduces chances of ACL tear. But what is that really? It's knee ability. If your knee isn't strong enough or is too painful to go forward, it has to go in. And contrary to popular opinion and backed up by 164 research papers, is the better you can full bend, the less chance of knee pain and injury you have. Not to mention, full bend actually helps grow and strengthen your ligaments themselves. This explains the modern athlete whose muscles look good, but internally the tendons, the ligaments, are actually weak and small. In fact, every study on every angle of knee ability only shows that the more ability you have, the less chance of knee pain and injury. And man, did I suck at every single one of these abilities. And that's how knee ability was born, by making every proven movement scalable so that anyone at any level can work at their pain-free ability. So what happened is just that something hard became easy. And so for myself and coaching thousands of others, every single factor of ability has turned into something measurable, yet scalable. You could do this with 1 pound, and you can even makeshift everything. Even though it only costs less than the price of a treadmill for my entire gym, every tool can be makeshifted. And in fact, our whole starting system requires 0 equipment, and you don't have to do that. It's the only optional step, but even I do 12 weeks out of the year with body weight only. So there is no absolute of all knee pain or no knee pain. If I squatted 1,000 pounds, I might hurt my knee. If I jump off a high enough building, I might hurt my knee. But knee ability provides the world's first math equation of knee pain that everybody can access and apply. So this is how basketball simply went from being too difficult for my knees to now I have some of the most bulletproof basketball knees on the planet. I've done over 400 competitions between college, pro, and other without any knee pain holding me back. My vertical's gone from 19 to 42 inches. I went from being ridiculed for my athleticism to now being a pretty decent athlete. And you can see how for so many others, simply what used to be hard and take away their quality of life now is easy and has given back their quality of life from improving on that math equation. So every day I'm asked medical questions, but I can't answer your medical questions. We aren't in the medical field. We don't charge medical prices. We actually have the lowest price to simply coach your form. It's a simple business. There's no long-term contract. We put endless data. Everything I know, I put online for free. But if you want form coaching, if you want to follow an exact program, this takes time. Guess who myself and your coaches are? Exact people who have been ATG members and now want to help others with it. So yes, we have success stories for every knee condition I've ever heard of. My own left knee had 3 different surgical alterations that was never supposed to come back the same. My right was much tougher than the left because the right had 3 tears that I could have had surgery for. That one took some serious work to figure out. This is how knee ability was created, was from having the results of surgery and long-term issues and tightness, and then having the looseness of torn ligaments in this one, trying to figure them both out at the same time on top of 10 years of chronic pain that started when I was 12 years old. When I was 12, I remember waiting and hoping that fire alarm would never be a real fire because every other kid in my school could run. I had to be extremely warmed up to even run. When I was 14, I went into high school, right as a freshman. My nickname was Old Man. I couldn't join the rest of the basketball team for practice in the morning. It took me half an hour to warm up. I had to be on the side warming up before I could even join my team for practice. So 10 years of chronic pain, surgeries which left this one 3 years later feeling even worse than before the surgeries. This one, 3 tears, no surgeries on, having to figure out all this while still trying to make it and going from completely unrecruited out of high school to ending up being a 2-year JUCO star, getting D1 offers, and now reaching my 30s, actually by far the most athletic of my life. At 6'1", I have a chance of being the shortest guy ever to be consistently dunking off all 4 plants in games. I'm not there yet, but it's just pretty cool to think about. If I could go from the worst, most fragile knees of anyone I knew growing up, any teams I was on, anything like that, to now having some of the most bulletproof knees in the world, well, you can see why a lot of people out there are simply getting more knee ability, less knee pain.